All right, so we've got all of our circular and flat railings. This side comes from the bottom of the stairs around to the front door, and this one ends here and wraps around to the small studio. What we need is some vertical supports, both on the diagonal treads and around the openings. So I'm going to show a handful of them, but not every single one. So the easiest way to start, I'm going to do the ones on these stairs first. I'm going to come back into my section 2. If you look at the building, the very first one has a vertical support, then you skip 2, then a vertical support, skip 2, and so on. So since this is really crowded in my model, I'm going to start on the 4th step, and then I'll just copy from there. So I'm going to come into Architecture, Component, Model in Place. I'm going to type in railing again, but this time I'm going to use supports. That way, if I need to use my filter function later, I don't have 1,000 railings. I have some railings and some supports. Click OK. OK. It's going to be a simple extrusion. We're going to set the work plane to railings. We know this is 1.25 inches thick and we want it to be steel. We've already got steel, but this is still set to the 4 foot 6 inches from our treads. So I'm going to say 1.25 inches. And now, I don't know what the diagonal of this is going to be. So I'm going to start on my 4th stair on the inside here. That's where it's bolted. I'm just going to come down past that 4-inch wedge. And then I'm going to turn chain back on. And I'm going to come over 1/4 inch. And then I'm going to come up until I meet this flat railing. Ooh, my mouse is being crazy. All right, so I'm going vertical until I meet this railing. And now I'm just going to come along the edge. This is bigger than I need it to be. That's okay. I'm going to go to trim now. And the first thing I'm going to click is this little portion that I already know where it's supposed to be. And now if I come up here, you see there's a dashed line. As long as I click inside that dashed line, now it closes up the correct shape. I'm going to click OK once. I'm going to make sure to edit the work plane and to disassociate from the work plane. Not only is this being copied, but it's also being mirrored to the other side. I'm going to say, well, let me check from top first before I finish model. Yeah, this fits perfectly. So I'm going to say finish model. And now's an opportunity if you want to start adding some details before you go crazy on the copying, because these are bolted. So I'm just going to show that just in case anybody really wants to do that. I'm going to go back to my hidden line. I'm going to try and find a view that's fairly reasonable. All right. I think I can see this enough. I might have to go to wireframe. So I'm going to just draw on the face of this. I'm going to say architecture, component, model in place. And again, this is a railing, and this is part of the supports. That's going to be an extrusion, and I'm going to say set work plane, pick a plane. I'm just going to pick the face of this. And I'm going to switch to this inscribed polygon. And I'm just going to make, I don't know, 1/2 inch bolt. Maybe not 1/2 inch, maybe 3/8 inch bolt. Oh, it only wants to give me 1/4 inch. And let me type, sorry, type 3/8 1/8 of an inch. All right, so I've got this. I want to make sure it's steel. And click OK. Right now, this is 1 1/4. I can just make this something like 3/8 inch deep. Oops. Where to go? I'm going to click on it, and I'm going to say 3/8 of an inch. And hopefully it goes in. Yep. All right. Now I'm going to disassociate it from the work plane because I'm going to copy this. Edit work plane. Disassociate. I can finish this. And now what I can do, I can go back to my section 2. I can copy this down. I don't know how many inches, somewhere down here. So I'll give it 1 inch. And let's make it 1 1/4 inches. And now I can highlight both of these. And I can copy them again. And this time I'm going to go from this corner straight over to this corner. And now it looks like I've got 2 bolts holding this on. If you wanted to add that level of detail to your model, it's something you can add into your final presentation. If not, it's not required. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and come back to my section 2 for a minute. I'm going to highlight this. I'm going to highlight the bolts. By adding control, I'm going to add them. And now I am going to make them a group. So let's see, it's not an assembly. It's not go up. Here we go. Create group. Click OK. And so now if I copy, the whole thing's going to copy. And I want to copy from a place that makes sense. So for me, right here is a place I know I can snap. I'm at the edge of this where the vertical meets the horizontal. So I can copy it. I can come down to this really crowded area. Then I can snap to it. I can skip 2 steps. Come up to this really crowded, less crowded area. Skip 2 steps. Keep going until I have, the last step doesn't get one, so it's the next to last step that does. So now I have a total 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 verticals here. Now I need them on the other side as well. They're already grouped, luckily. Everything's been disassociated from their work planes. So I'm going to hold control. I'm going to get all 6 of these. And now I'm going to switch back to my level 2 stair crop. I'm going to say mirror pick axis. I'm going to use my midpoint. Now they're showing up over here. I've got the bolts. Let's take a look in 3D. How does it look? Yeah, we're in good shape. So those are done. We want to do around the edges as well. And again, I'm not going to show all these, but I'm going to show the process. So I'm going to come back to my section 2. Actually, no, I'm going to do my, it doesn't matter. I can do section 2 or 3. The important part is that I'm drawing here. A lot of this is kind of annoying right now, so I'm going to right click, drag it, and I'm going to hide in view for now. Alright, now I have less in my way. But I still have this stuff So I'm going to go ahead and go back to what I did earlier, and I'm going to make this 3/4 of an inch, and now that's less annoying. I don't really want to see this, but that's okay. So I want to make a component model in place. It's going to be another railing, and it's going to be a support. Oops. So now this time, I want an extrusion, but I don't really have a work plane. So I have to say pick a plane again. Just like we did with the lower stairs, I want to pick the face of this flat thing. I know this is a rectangle. These are all round, so it's not really going to work. So if I hover over one of these lines and I click tab until they're both highlighted, now I know that I'm going to draw from there. And I'm just going to I'm going to stay away from that geometry for now, just to make my life easier. I'm going to come down until I hit the floor, making sure I'm vertical. Then I'm going to come over 1/4 of an inch, come back up to the top, and then close it off. It's set to 1 1/4 inches. Unfortunately, it might be coming towards us instead of away from us. We'll find out in a second. I'm going to click OK once. And again, we need to disassociate this from the work plane. And before I finish, I'm going to come into my level 2 stair crop. I'm going to see where is it. It's over here. Yeah, it's in the wrong direction. That's okay. So this bit, these 2 lines here are actually the round. This is the face of our flat, and this is the far side of our flat. So I'm just going to stretch it here until hopefully it snaps. And then stretch it here until it snaps. So now I have something that's already been disassociated. I can say finish model. I do not want to start making copies without it being closed. First thing I want to do is just move it up closer to the end. So I'm going to say move, and I'm going to use this line to make sure it stays where it belongs. I'm staying along the edge, putting it here. Before I make an array out of it, I want to make a copy all the way over to this side. So I'm going to say copy, and I don't want to pick the middle. I want to pick an edge again. So I'm going to get this corner, and I'm going to come straight over. And again, we've got this round one that sits over it, but I've been doing this long enough that I know that this middle one and this edge are the correct one. So now that they're both copied, I can use a tool called Array. Let me hide this for a minute. So if we have 6 of them here, no, we have 7 here, 6 here, and I think 9 here. I'll have to double check that picture. So if I highlight it, there's this tool called Array, and it's right in the middle over here, crammed in. It's very small. I could say Array, and the location's a little different in 2026 than 25 years. Will probably be over here. So I'm going to say I'm going to my last one, and I want a total of 7. Come on, cooperate. So I want 7. So now, again, I click this top corner. I drag along the edge. And I decide where I want this to end. Somewhere in here. Now you'll see I have 7 uprights. You can do the exact same thing over here. I'm not going to show it. Now, unfortunately, Array does not work anytime you rotate. So if I take this and I copy it over here and I rotate it, it's just not going to be happy. I'm going to try something new though. We'll see how it works out. So the first thing I'm going to do is a model line, making sure I'm perpendicular. I'm going to copy this over using a corner to a corner. And so now I want to rotate this so that I can line up. And I want to place the rotation. It defaults to the center, which doesn't do us any good. So I want to say place. I'm going to pick this corner. I want to follow this edge, and then I can rotate it into place. Now it's here, which is helpful, but since it was not drawn on this plane, if I try and use array, I'll say array, I'll say 9, I'll click on this, come back this way, now you can see nothing happened. So you can have it here as an orientation for you to draw a new one, or you can just manually copy it and figure out a distance. Once you have these that are parallel to each other, so this is parallel to this, and these two are parallel to these two. So just for fun, I'm going to copy this. Again, I'm going to grab an edge, and I'm going to come all the way over. I'm going to try and do, here we go. I'm trying to do a perpendicular line straight over and snap it here. Now it's lined up with this, but if I come into my 3D, you can see, oh, that's what happened to my array. They ended up over here because they wanted to have the same orientation. Once I rotated them, they did make an array. They just made them in the middle of nowhere. So this is actually the one I copied. And if I went to the top view, you'd see, top view, you'd see it's actually still lined up with where I want it. It's just too high. So I can see that from section 1. Hopefully, where'd it go? Let me come into the 3D real quick. Right, I'm going to highlight this. Then I'm going to go back to section 1. And there it is. So what I can do now is I can just click the move. Pick this top corner. Drag it straight down until we're on the bottom of here. Now I have another railing. Because I haven't rotated it, I can put it near the edge here, and I can use the array. So the only ones that you might have to manually do if you don't feel like drawing brand new ones are the ones along this edge, which there's only 2 of, and the ones along this edge where there's 9 of. So that's basically it for the supports. I'm not going to show all the copies. Again, here you got 2 options. Draw a brand new one, and you can use the array tool. Or copy this one that's already been rotated, making sure you have a total of 9 and that they're semi-consistent with their spacing. Alright, that's it. See you guys in class.